This is Assassin's Creed 2 as part of the Ezio Collection. So I originally reviewed this with a friend. So if you want to get like the full review where we kind of dig into the nitty and gritty of this one, I do have a video up on the channel that kind of talks about the game's story and that. So we're going to be doing more of a gameplay oriented thing this time, just to kind of show off how it's running, because obviously, probably what drew you in here is the fact that this is now FPS boosted. And I will be taking a look at the different options within the Assassin's Creed, well, basically collection for the Ezio Collection. So you can look forward to those as well if you want to get a different look at what the different games are running like. So with that, what we're getting here is 1080p at 60 FPS with auto HDR support. It is beautifully smooth, because I was playing this not too long ago to record gameplay for, well, basically the reviews I was doing with my friend, and we're still working on those, and that's probably how we'll cover the later entries that we're working on. But yeah, I'm actually really impressed with the improved fluidity on this one. So this collection, for a lot of people, I think was sort of disappointing in regards to the fact that the frame rate was so, well, it was low, right? It was still 30. It was like sort of minimal in regards to real changes to the game other than getting it properly ported to the generation. But now, we can actually experience this in a proper, fluid way. I mean, it does look pretty decent around the edges in regards to the smoothness of the game. And in general, I'm kind of happy with what this is offering here. It actually feels very, very smooth to play. And I think that's kind of important in regards to offering a kind of well set, fluid experience for Assassin's Creed. I mean, this is obviously what I think most consider to be the greatest entry in the series, in terms of the story, the characters, the world, and to be able to experience that now smoothly at 60 on the consoles is really great to have, as I'm assuming many are, generally quite pleased with that option. And I'll just provide like a little bit of brief context. Sorry about your broom, my friend. Brief context into the idea of this. Obviously the main character here, Ezio, is kind of the core thing with the name of the series, right? It's the Ezio trilogy, or well, not trilogy, but collection. You also get a little bit of a little bit of a mix-up there in regards to a previous Assassin if you play, not specifically this one, but, later parts of the collection, different games in it. They kind of cover some different parts of the series, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's just kind of a neat element of this is when Assassin's Creed was sort of, I guess, almost in its prime, if that makes sense, in regards to really building out the formula, the core style of it. While doing something entirely new off the first one. Huge refinements, expanding the world, doing something fresh, and I think that kind of made it, well, to be a very enticing sort of experience for a lot of people that were wanting to see, what this franchise had to offer. And it's very neat what they were able to do with it. Hello there, sir. And yeah, obviously you're assassinating people. I mean, that's what Assassin's Creed is all about. And then you get these moments in whatever period of time. But there's also the modern era element of it as well. The later Assassin's Creed titles focus less and less on the present time story and or future story, however you want to look at it. Because this is like sort of a simulation, as to say, of history. So yeah, this one was a little bit more heavily focused on it. You got Desmond in the future there, and it's definitely a neat sort of setup and style in regards to how the character is handled, and you get to also see his story sort of be, played around with in regards to that as well in the backdrop of these games. I'm just trying to get away here, because that's kind of always going on outside of the scope of our character here, and I forgot how annoying it is to kind of deal with the crowds. But yeah, this is a game franchise where it's all about like parkouring and stealth and stuff, and it becomes more kind of RPG driven as the entries kind of go by. You get to see more less and less of a focus on the future, more of a focus on RPG, less on stealth, but still having some of those key principles that continue and sort of just continue to be available in the later ones. I am just spinning around. And then there's also an element of like collectibles and side missions, with this being sort of an ultimate collection for the character and his, his sort of story. You do get a tale that has all of the DLC content, all of the things that released for it. What is he like? Oh, they're throwing rocks at him? Okay. Well, at least they can't get him now that he's on the other side of the bridge thing. But you get to kind of visit this really beautiful landscape and environment where everything is, really filled with detail and style. And you get to go on these structured missions, and you get to meet some historical figures. And you get to really just sort of experience this lovely location. And, they did fix things up a little bit for this package, which was nice. And to now be able to experience it, at 60, I think is kind of a big bonus for this one. I think it adds a lot to the experience. And keep in mind, though, that this one does have like some crashes here or there, not driven by the FPS boost, but just generally the package having some bugs within it as well. So keep that in mind. In case you're wondering if any issues pop up, that's just kind of how the game's ran outside of the fact of them FPS boosting it. So just, keep that aspect of it in mind. One element I do find a little bit more annoying in this one is the fact that, the enemies are definitely a little bit more driven towards attacking you, whereas in later ones I think they're a little bit more pushed to the side almost, unless you actually get in there and kind of deal with them. I want to loot this. Oh, I gotta hold B. Okay, my bad. But I hope I'm kind of getting across the smoothness of this game. It really does feel quite excellent, especially when you're like parkouring or battling against other enemies, or just seeing the scope of what this has to offer. I kind of want to climb up on the roof because there's that eagle spot there, and it'll let you kind of see more things. Are you... Okay, well, I want to... Oh my god, this one's got that sort of awkward parkour thing. Holding, well, A. Yeah, I want to go the other way. Yeah. But you can at times get a pretty free-flowing setup to it. Like if you get what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to jump up to the top of this thingy so that I can synchronize and give you a little bit of a view of the city region. But it's pretty dense, a good amount of population in there. They did touch up a number of things to make it a little bit better. But I think it's just kind of a really fun experience, and it seems to just be really smoothly providing that. It really is just delightfully charming to be able to jump back in this and almost just properly be able to experience maybe what it was kind of intended to be like. Woo! Hey Bales, always fun. But we're mostly just doing gameplay, like I said. If you want more of like a hardcore review sort of thing, you have to check out my other video I did on this for Series X, where it really just goes into the technical aspects of it, because, I don't have as much experience with this one as my friend did, and that's why I brought him in, was so that he could come and, fully explain the smaller technical details of this one, because, it's a big deal for a lot of people, these Assassin's Creed games, especially Assassin's Creed 2, because, again, it's one that people just absolutely love and adore. And I think it was best to have someone come in that really appreciated the title to be able to come and talk about it, and that was the biggest part of that aspect of it. But for the FPS boost, it's a little bit easier just to have me jump in and do some gameplay on it so you can see the difference in the quality, and it feels really, really good. This is definitely an appreciated upgrade to the title, that's for sure. Just makes it feel infinitely better, because again, like, I'm the one that has to play these even when we're doing review stuff. I gotta record all of this, so wow, they actually really do follow you in this one. Later Creed games, they are less and less interested in you being up in the tops of buildings. Yeah, I'm more used to like Unity onwards. It's kind of my playground of Creed, if that makes sense. Or the modern era ones. Well, I also did 3, right? So I think I've done my fair share of Creed-esque experiences over the years, because there's so many of these titles, so many Assassin's Creed games, which is just kind of wild. But yeah, this one definitely is a whole different type of beast of like, it's, sort of game. It's almost like they pull back on the camera style of it further and further as you go along. and it becomes less and less focused on the individual fighting and more about like the RPG elements of what you're fighting within. And I found the like the crowds and having to deal with them and the becoming more anonymous and stuff in this one is just a lot more tiring, if that makes sense. Like it just seems to be quite a lot of work to deal with. Oh, look who it is, we're back in the base of operations.
I think it's best I leave Firenze.
Where will you go?
My uncle Mario owns a villa near Monteregioni.
You're still a wanted man, Ezio.
What would you have me do then?
I've seen posters all across the district. Tearing them down will help the city forget your face. No doubt the heralds also incite the public. Bribe them, and they'll speak of other things. Or you could hunt those who bear false witness against you. They traded dignity for coin. Their loss would not be mourned. Do any of these things, and you should be free to leave.
Reduce.
I've added a program for
What?
tracking notoriety. This little meter will help you know how far you are between notorious and incognito.
And you're still kind of learning the ropes at this point. This had some of those older mechanics in regards to, you know, hiding stuff in that move. Rotary. That's hilarious. I just remember the later one. Like, again, it's less and less and more about just gathering stuff in this one, where it's actually about stealth and trying to keep a low profile and, you know, not having to deal with stuff. Kind of brutal, too, but I guess it's even more brutal in the later ones, isn't it? You know, straight up just attack people. What am I hitting here? Oh, that up there. Okay, got it. So I was just like, what? Why would they even put a poster up here, though? Who's seeing that poster there? You know what I mean? Like, who is seeing this? Yeah, they definitely get the free flowing a little bit better in the later ones, I gotta say. Makes a big difference to me. Especially with how you go through it. But I hope you're kind of getting just an idea of how smooth it's running in that. That was my main focus, was just to kind of provide the gameplay elements of fluidity and the movement, and through some very interesting types of areas that you can kind of go through that are just regular representations of, you know, kind of the title in action. Really, you can't jump up there? That's a little surprising. Oh no. I don't really want to fight all you guys, I kind of just want to take down posters. But I suppose they don't really like that, do they? Is it because the king's paying for these posters? They've got a real hate towards me. Oh, that might also be because I just assassinated somebody. You know, kind of a big name in the area, right? Oh crap, are they gonna like throw rocks at me? Yeah, the later ones, the guys are like, you know, a lot less interested in me in comparison to this. Okay, I'm just gonna take that poster off. They totally are gonna ignore me now, right? Because I'm not cool. You know, I got rid of the poster, right? Yeah? No? Okay. Fluidity definitely good hand for this parkour stuff, though, because in the past it's like super iffy. Oh, come on! You're killing me, man. Be the better Creed guy. How did they also already get like expert drawn photos of him too? Find that kind of funny. Oh, and then you gotta heal yourself as well. That's a part of this one. Yeah, it's such a simpler time in the Creed. Oppressively socially unacceptable actions will make you notorious. Yeah, I'm just getting chased by all these guys that are trying to kill me. And they do catch up on you. They definitely won't let you alone. It's like I'm being harassed or something by these enemies. Now this feels kind of nice to move through, and there's not all these kind of issues blocking. How did you get up here? Enjoy the fall, my friend. But anyways, that's basically Assassin's Creed 2 in the Ezio Collection. we'll be covering more of the entries in the near future, and it seems to just be running beautifully fine and offering a compelling way to revisit this title if you've been waiting for good frame rates, because now you can really get the Creed franchise running smooth and looking decently good.